Alrighty, hello world. This is going to be a session of track 2 voicing for the practitioner program, and I'll be putting these fundamentals in the various sections where they go. Today we'll be doing Nai fundamentals, and then in the future we'll be doing Nijai, we'll be doing Mojo journalism, a bunch of other things, and we'll keep putting them where they fit as far as content-wise. But the theme on these Tuesday sessions will be leveling up track 2. All right. It is me here, Nai Coach. With me I have
Nai Ben.
All right, so we're working off of the Pilot Proclamation ebook, and Ben has already done level 1 and most level 2, so we're going right to level 3, which is talking about his mojo, which is Nai. All righty, so the way we're going to work it is I'm going to ask him review questions that are going to stimulate him to be respond, showing he has the knowledge of that section. So read the questions, then we'll read the official answer from the book. Then he'll chat as we need to get his head around it. Then we ask the question again whenever he's ready. He answers it. Boom, credit achieved. And we keep on rocking. Alrighty. So with no further ado, let's get into it. The first, these questions tend to be in a batch. Sometimes they're just a single question. Usually like a little batch of questions that sort of constellate a nugget, a beat.
Yeah. One other question I was curious about is, do I have to memorize the question?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
You just have to be able to answer it.
Nice.
All right. So the first beat questions are: what is momentum? How do Nai gain momentum? What is modulation? How do Nai modulate? Where does the Nai get its innate nature name from? All right. Do you want to read the book answer?
Sure. That sounds good. All humans have 8 different powers in their psyche. 4 of these powers are conscious, and the other 4 are unconscious. Of the 4 conscious powers, 2 of them will be momentum, meaning they give energy, and 2 of them will be modulation, meaning they curb energy. It is the top 2 conscious powers and their specific ranking to give each innate nature, design, or mojo its name and special gifts. The conscious powers of the Nai mojo are Nai, Ji, Zai, and V.
All right, perfect. So do you have any, do you think you can answer those? Do you have any questions regarding it?
Yeah, I think I can answer it. Momentum is the gaining of energy in the psyche, and modulation is the curbing of energy in the psyche. Naiji modulate with the powers of Zai and V. Naiji gain momentum with the powers of Nai and Ji. The name Naiji comes from their top 2 momentum powers, Nai and Ji. Excellent. In that ranking.
Nice, nailed it.
Does that count?
Perfect. Nice. I give you a little and also at the end maybe I'll give you a little calibrations. That was well done. I would just mention the momentum powers before the modulation powers when you're teaching people.
Oh yes, yeah. I started with mod. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. This is good. Little things like this, because basically this is training you to be a trainer, training you to be a teacher for other people. Yeah. Alrighty. So next batch of questions then. I will put them in the chat bar. Here's the next batch. All right. So how does the maybe I should do
I think it'll work. I'll just highlight the area I need to.
Okay, but I think I'll do this in the future. I'm gonna put a little asterisk bar in there to separate it, make it a little easier. Okay, so how does the power of Nai relate to momentum modulation for Nai Ji? What is the technical definition? This is a little bit of a more intense one, but if you can do this, it's like you really know what Nai is. All right, so what is the technical definition of Nai? What is the primary focus of Nai? What are at least 10 power flow associations that Nai has? All powers have 20, so if you can name 10, that'd be good. What is the physiological cue most associated with Nai? And when does this physiological cue of Nai increase?
Cool. That sounds like a more challenging one. But after I noticed that after reading through it, once it definitely helps.
And you've been trained for a couple of years now, so you know pretty much this stuff. So a lot of it's just access.
Yeah, just pulling it from my head, in the amount of time, and yeah.
All right, so you want to read the book definition?
Oh yeah, for sure. For the Naiji, Nai is their first ranked power, and therefore major momentum for them. Nai can be described in technical terms as directive, subjective, interpretive, perception, and its color coding is blue. Nai is all about the unknown with corresponding associations such as detachment, call to imagine, conceptualization, envisioning, synthesis, synergy, inclusiveness, perspective shifting, meaningful insight, seeing the angles, speculation, prediction, global modeling, long-range planning, sense of destiny, visionary drive, independence of mind, secrecy, proactive theorizing, and abductive reasoning. Their nigh gives off the physiological cue of cunning eyes, which is their most pervasive signal, and increases when their eyes narrow and disengage to the left.
Nice. Now here's a little kind of a refinement we're doing here, possibly. I'm curious what you think. I guess, do you think it would be okay for you to? I see, because you can see the question in the chat bar then.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of how it's been now.
Okay, so then, do you have any questions about those questions?
Yeah, that's what I was, because like when you're asking, it might not.
Hold them on your
It might
head.
be kind of hard to tell like which part of that was the or which part of the beat was trying to get at that question.
Okay, so why don't you look at the beat and look at the questions here in the chat bar and see if you can extrapolate.
So the power of Nigh as it relates to momentum and modulation for Nigh is that it is the major momentum power, being their source power. The technical definition of Nigh is.
And one thing I want to do. Are you reading it off the book?
I'm not reading it off the book. Oh, I am reading it off the book.
Okay, so
no, as in I'm not reading it directly from the book.
You're not doing it from the book.
I'm off book.
I just make sure you're looking at the question in the chat bar then.
I'm just looking at the question in the chat bar. I'm not looking at
great.
Yeah.
You're doing great. Then please keep going then.
Yeah. The technical definition of Nigh is directive, subjective, interpretive perception. The primary focus of Nigh is to detach. I'm not sure on this one.
History.
Oh, right, you're right. Concept of the unknown. Yes. So I probably want to redo the question.
Yeah, let's start from the top then. That's how we'll do it. This is good.
Yeah, because if you tell me what the answer is, it's like.
That's kind of what I was figuring, is that we like ask the questions and read through the answer, and then you do like a pass where you kind of try and feel it out, and I'll correct as you need, and then you do another one where you nail it, and we move on.
Nice. Yeah, I think for a lot of these, like things like this, where I tend to, there's a lot of material that I know already. It'll probably be a situation where I'm gonna just try to feel through it the first time and see how it goes.
Gotcha.
So the way that the power of Nigh relates to momentum modulation is that Nigh is the major momentum source power for the Nigh Shi. Technical definition of Nigh is this directive, subjective, perception lead, and interpretive.
Actually, it's interpretive perception.
Interpretive perception, yeah.
Perception lead actually refers to a mojo, whether or not they
yeah. I got confused.
It's good. This is good.
The primary focus of Nigh is the concept of the unknown. Some power flows of Nigh are conceptualizing, envisioning, synthesis, synergy, call to imagine, perspective shifting, abductive reasoning, seeing the angles, meaningful insight.
It's like 9. Get one more and you're good. I give you a hint. What's something that lets you know your theory is strong? It gives the power of.
Prediction. Oh God.
No worries. No worries. This is good.
Yeah.
All right. Once you feel through the last part, and then try to go again from the top. Nail it.
All right. That sounds good. The physiological cue that is most associated with Nai is cunning eyes. This physiological cue of Nai increases as when I don't know how I know how I can answer this question. However, I'm not sure how I should.
Well, the Nike had cunning eyes baseline, but then we narrow our eyes or.
Oh yeah, I was thinking, yeah, that makes sense. So a cue that would cause their signal of cunning eyes to increase. That makes sense.
All right, from the top. This is just like training a dojo. That's how you do it.
Cool, awesome. Yeah, I think I can do it this time. So the power of Nai, the way it relates to momentum modulation, is that it is the major momentum power for the Nai Ji, as it is in the source position. The technical definition of Nai is this directive, subjective, interpretive, and perception lead. The primary focus
Perception, not perception lead.
Oh, perception. Yeah. The primary focus of Nai is that is the concept of the unknown. Some power flows of Nai are prediction, speculation, call to imagine, seeing the angles, perspective shifting, synthesis, synergy, conceptualization, meaningful insight, global modeling.
Boom.
The physiological cue that is most associated with Nai is cunning eyes, and the signal of cunning eyes increases when Nai mojos narrow their eyes.
Good. Or drift left. Excellent.
Or drift left, yeah.
Got it. Credit achieved, sir.
Nice.
Next up. Probably get a little easier just because it's going to get a little repetitive now for the last three. Alrighty. So how does the power of G relate to momentum modulation for Nai G? What's the technical definition of G? What is the primary focus of G? What are at least 8 power flow associations that G has? What is the physiological?
Does G have less power flows than Nai, or is it?
No, it doesn't. I just staggered that way to kind of represent the hierarchy.
I see. Yeah, because you would generally spend less time on powers that are lower down the hierarchy.
Yeah. It's nice. It's nice to know, 10 if you have it. But
yeah, and it helps with kind of the spell too.
It does, I think so.
Yeah.
All right, and then what is the physiological cue most associated with G, and when does this cue increase? So you can read the book and then feel your way through.
I'll do the book read through. For the Nai Ji, Ji is their second rank power and therefore minor momentum for them. Ji can be described in technical terms as directive, objective, values-based discernment, and its color coding is red. Ji is all about the people with corresponding associations such as sense of community, personal connection, social awareness, considerate behavior, integrity, code of conduct, group dynamics, cultural dynamics, interpersonal relationships, diplomacy, team building, shepherding, ritualizing, charm, and persuasion. The Ji gives off the physiological cue of weremouth, which increases when their face shows any emotiveness at all. All right. So the way Ji relates to momentum modulation is that it is their minor momentum power being in the second tandem position. The technical definition of Ji is directive, objective, values-based perception.
Discernment.
Oh my god.
This is good.
My mind is jelly right now.
No worries. So we'll warm ourselves up.
Yeah. The primary focus. Should I redo that, or is that because I technically said that incorrectly, so I should probably. I don't know.
Do you want to have we just make it a kind of protocol? The first one is just a test run.
Sure, yeah. I think that's probably a good way to do it.
And that way you don't have to start over. Just kind of feel your way through it, and then try from the top again when you want credit.
Yeah. So some of the power flows of G are cultural dynamics, personal connection, code of conduct, integrity, personal consideration.
Three more.
Social awareness, is that one?
One.
Tribal dynamics, is that one? or
Team building, shepherding.
Oh, team building, shepherding. Yep, nice.
Cool. Keep going.
The physiological cue that is most associated with G is aware mouth, and that is activated when the Naiji does any emoting at all.
Good. All right. Whenever you're ready, take your time if you want to kind of let your brain process. Whenever you're ready, from the top for credit.
Cool. I think I'll maybe look over some of the power flows real quick again. Sense community, personal connection, social awareness, insert behavior, group dynamics, and cultural dynamics. Team building, shepherding, ritualizing, charm, persuasion. Nice. Okay. All right. I think I'm ready to do it.
Take it away.
The way G relates to momentum modulation is that G is the minor momentum power, being in the second tandem position. The technical definition of G is that it is directive, objective, values-based discernment. Primary focus of G is on the concept of the people. Some power flows of G are team building, shepherding, sense of community, cultural dynamics, group dynamics, charm, persuasion, shepherding.
Boom.
Nice. The physiological cue that's most associated with G is aware mouth, and that is activated when the Naiji does any emoting at all.
Boom. Credit achieved,
Nice.
sir. All right. Next
And
up.
we're steamrolling through this.
We're getting into the groove here, man. This was great. All right. Here's the next set. How does the power of, it's, same thing again, pretty much, but I'll read through it. How does the power of Xi relate to momentum modulation for the Naiji? What's the technical definition of Xi? What is the primary focus of Xi? What are at least 6 power flow associations Xi has? What's the physiological cue most associated with Xi? And when does this cue increase?
Cool. So, other 2 will be a lot like the first 2. And yeah, there's 6 this time because that makes sense. I'm guessing B will probably have 4. I would imagine, yeah. For the Naiji, Xi is their third-rank power, and therefore minor modulation for them. Xi can be described in technical terms as adaptive, subjective, logic-based discernment, and its color coding is steel. Xi is all about perfection and corresponding associations such as clarity, dispassion, principle understanding, experimentation, diagnostics, situational logic, customizing, optimizing, calibrating, and deductive reasoning. Their Xi gives off the physiological cue of cool resonating, which is the most notable when their eyes disengage to the right or their head tilts to the right, and tends to coincide with temporary neutralizing of their more natural G emotive expressions.
So try to feel your way through.
Cool. Yeah, I'll try and go for a test run and see how it feels. The way Xi relates to momentum modulation is that it is their minor modulation power, being in the third offside position. Technical definition of Xi is that it is adaptive, subjective, logic-based discernment. The primary focus of Xi is concept of perfection. Some power flows of Xi are calibration, deductive reasoning, clarity, dispassion, diagnostics, and principle understanding. The cue that is most associated with Xi is the is the neutralizing of the Naiji G mode of expressioning, and Oh yeah, and this physiological cue increases when the Naiji tilts her head to the right, or uh, checks their eyes to the right.
Good. Alrighty.
Was that under a minute, or should I do that again?
No, that was good. That was great. You're right. You got that one. You nailed that one. All right. Boom.
Nice.
Credit achieved. Next up, last one of this series is the V. Pretty much the same thing again. How does the power of V relate to mental modulation for Naiji? What's the technical definition of V? What's the primary focus of V? What are at least 4 power flow associations V has? What's the physiological cue most associated with V? And when does this cue increase?
Awesome. For the Naiji, V is their 4th rank power and therefore major modulation for them. V can be described in technical terms as adaptive, objective, literal perception, and its color coding is green. V is all about reality with corresponding associations such as environment scanning, present-mindedness, visceral experience, zest for life, and animal magnetism. Their V gives off the physiological cue of laser eyes, which shows up only with an active use such as when they widen their eyes looking out at something. Otherwise, it is subordinate to the cunning eyes signal of their Nai. Interesting. Cool. All right, so the way V relates to modulation and momentum is that V is the Naiji's major modulation power, being in the 4th position. The technical definition of V is adaptive, objective, literal perception. The primary focus of V is concept of reality. Some of the power flows of V are animal magnetism, sensory understanding. Is that one?
I think it's 5 senses.
Five senses. 5 senses. Connoisseurship.
That's true. So yeah.
Yeah, like the ones there were 5 listed, but there were probably because 20 total.
And yeah, you don't have to name the 4 that are there. You can any 4 that are actually from the list of 20 is great. I think you got 4, didn't you?
Oh, I did. Oh, okay. Yeah, it feels like there should be more because I've been doing more with other ones. The physiological cue that's most associated with V is laser eyes, and that it's activated when the Naiji widens their eyes or does a brow lift or shimmies their shoulders and so forth.
All right. Let's do it one more time. Just because a little staggered going through.
Yeah. It was I think I was probably a little longer than 1 minute.
One more time, you should nail it.
Yeah. I think I'll maybe look at the power flows for V again. Environment scanning, present mindedness, visual experience, zest for life, animal magnetism. I may actually open up the whole list of power flows.
Yeah.
Cool. It shouldn't take me long. Probably good to have it. Yeah, so 5 senses, sensory stimulation, alertness, environment scanning, present-mindedness, in the moment, visceral experience, hyperized experience, central experience, connoisseur experience, aesthetic experience, ecstatic experience. Cool. There's 5 for the word experience. Kinetic energy, galvanization, zest for life, exuberance, animal magnetism, stage presence, concrete existence, corporal reality.
Yeah, what I would do is that list, I would just pick the 4 that you would feel coolest saying to somebody. That'd probably make it easier to remember.
Yeah. So 5 senses, visceral experience, corporal reality, and visceral experience. I'm not sure if I said that. I think I may have said that. Then I guess like alertness would be good. So 5 senses, visceral experience, corporeal reality, and alertness. I'll do that.
All right. From the top, power, man.
All right. The way Ryu relates to momentum modulation is that it is the major modulation power, being the fourth polar position. The definition of V is that it is objective, it is adaptive, objective, literal perception. The primary focus of V is concept of reality. Some of the power flows associated with V are 5 senses, corporeality, visceral experience, and alertness. The physiological cue most associated with V is laser eyes, which is activated when the Naiji widens their eyes or does a brow lift or shimmies their shoulders and so forth.
Boom. Credit to Chief, sir.
Nice. It was cool, actually. I think I may have used one that I wasn't originally going to use because I forgot like one of the 4 I wanted to do. So.
All right, so that actually ends that pitch. We're on to the next one. Boom. What are the 10 energy fields humans have? Describe each one in simple terms.
Interesting. So this will be on energy fields. Ah, I see. I see. Okay.
You want to read it out? And then.
Oh yeah, sure. That's probably a good way to do it. The powers of the psyche are compound into different energy fields associated with various regions of the psyche. Adaptive, free-form and open-ended. Directive, structured and closure-seeking. Objective, focused on the external. Subjective, focused on the internal. Perception, focused on gaining information. Interpretive, focused on pattern-based information. Literal, focused on detail-based information. Discernment, focused on decision-making. Values-based, focused on personal criteria. And logic-based, focus on impersonal criteria. Gain information.
Take your time when you're ready, try to feel it through.
So internal, cool. Okay, yeah, I'll try and feel it through. So the 10 energy fields are directive, which is structured and closure-seeking, adaptive, which is free-form and open-ended, objective, which is focused on the external, subjective, which is focused on the internal, perception lead, which is focused on information gaining, discernment, which is focused on decision-making, values-based, which is focused on personal criteria, decision-making, logic-based, which is focused on impersonal criteria, decision-making. Was that all 10?
No, it's 8. You didn't break down the perceptions yet.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, I thought I did.
You did
perception.
You did perception.
Oh, right, yeah, interpretive literal. Interpretive literal, yeah. Yeah, so interpretive, which is focused on gaining pattern-based information, and literal, which is focused on gaining concrete information.
All right, good. Let's try one more time. One more time. We have it.
Awesome. The 10 energy fields are directive, which is structured and closure-seeking, adaptive, which is free-form and open-ended, objective, which is focused on the external, subjective, which is focused on the internal, perception lead, which is focused on gaining information, discernment lead, which is focused on decision-making.
On those, I have to make a small correction. This is an important one. It's not perception lead or discernment lead. It's just the energy field, which is perception.
Oh, it's just perception discernment.
Yep. The perception lead and discernment lead specifically refers to a mojo and whether or not they have a perception or discernment power first.
Mm-hmm. values-based, which is decision-making based on personal criteria, logic-based, which is decision-making based on impersonal criteria, interpretive, which is pattern-based information gaining, and literal, which is concrete information gaining.
Boom, done, credit achieved.
Nice.
All right, next one is what are the directive powers of the Naiji? What are the adaptive powers of the Naiji? Which powers are ranked higher energetically? And what does this mean regarding the innate nature of the Naiji? And how can this be noted physiologically?
Which powers are ranked higher energetically, and what does this mean regarding the nature of the Naiji? Okay, cool. Naiji have directive powers, which are Nai and Ji, and they also have adaptive powers, which are Zai and Vi. So they're quite capable of both sides of their psyche. However, one of these compounds must outrank the other, and it is their directive powers, Nai and Ji, that give them energy, and it is oh, this is actually a typo. It should say adaptive powers, Zai and Vi, that curb your energy.
Thank you.
Making them directive. This can be noted in many ways, including their penetrating eyes and taut baseline tensioning in their gesturing. Cool.
Oh, wow. Thank you for knowing that. That's a update in the book. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It'll be cool as we read through. We'll probably notice things like that. Let's see. I'm just going to read through the questions again. What are the directive powers of Naiji? What are the adaptive powers of Naiji? Which powers outrank higher energetically? And what does this mean regarding the innate nature of the Naiji? So when it asks what does this mean, is that referring to that Naiji have their directive powers higher ranked than their adaptive powers?
Yes.
Okay.
Making them a directive mojo.
That makes sense. That makes them directive. Ah, I see. How can this be noted physiologically? It can be noted in their taut baseline tensioning, and I guess maybe what was the other one that said? It said penetrating eyes. Ah, nice. So the directive powers of the Naiji are Nai and Ji. The adaptive powers are Zai and Vi. Energetically, their directive powers of Nai and Ji are ranked higher than their adaptive powers of Zai and Vi, which makes them a directive mojo. This can be noted in their taut baseline tensioning, in their gesturing, and their penetrating eyes.
Boom. Credit achieved. Next up. What are the subjective powers of the Naiji? What are the objective powers of the Naiji? Which powers are ranked higher energetically? And what does this mean for the Naiji's innate nature? And how can this be noted physiologically?
Great. Naiji have subjective powers, which are Nai and Zai, and they also have subjective. Another typo.
Thank you.
And they also have objective powers, which are Ji and Vi. So they're quite capable of operating internally or externally. However, no two powers can be of the same rank, and it is a subjective power that outranks all their other powers, making their subjective. This can be noted in their hooded eyes and natural body refinement. Awesome. The subjective powers of the Naiji are Nai and Zai. Their objective powers are Ji and Vi. They have a subjective powers, their source power Nai, which outranks all the other powers, making them subjective. And this can be noted in their natural refinement and hooded eyes.
Boom, credit achieved.
Awesome.
Next up.
I feel like I'm just going to get better and better at just doing these, really easily.
Yeah, because we're getting a rhythm for this. This will be how we run the drills. And so, yeah, it'll be in dojo. After the first day or so, you kind of get like how the drills run.
Yeah. Man, this is going to be so helpful for power leveling. You can just you can do so many of these. And also it's going to make it feel a lot more accessible to people, to people who are newer to track too.
Yeah, and also I think it may feel like I don't just have it recited. It's like I was asked a question and I was able to answer.
I can actually answer this question if someone, yeah.
All right, what is the interpretive power of the Naiji? What is the literal power of the Naiji? Which power is ranked higher? And what does this mean for their innate nature? And how can this be noted physiologically?
Cool. Naiji have an interpretive power, which is Nai, and they have a literal power, which is Vi. so they're quite capable of paying attention to both pattern-based and detail-based information. However, no two powers can be of the same rank, and it is their Ni that is energetically ranked higher than their V, making them interpretive. This can be noted in how their Ni cunning eyes are a pervasive signal they give off, and their V laser eyes only pop out during active usage. All right, nice. The interpretive power of the Ni is Ni, and their literal power is V. And it is their Ni that is ranked higher than their V energetically, with their Ni being the source power and their V being their polar power. This can be noted physiologically.
And what does that make them?
Oh, and that makes them interpretive. This can be noted physiologically by the fact that their Ni is being their source power is always the dominant signal in their eyes, whereas their V only comes out during active usage.
Boom, credit achieved.
Awesome.
Stop. Size-based power for the Ni. What is their logic-based power? Which power is ranked higher? And what does it mean for their innate nature? And how can this be noted physiologically?
Ni have a values-based power, which is Ji, and they also have a logic-based power, which is Zai. So they're quite capable of making decisions based on personal or logical criteria. However, no two powers can be of the same rank, and it is their Ji that is energetically ranked higher than their Zai, making them values-based. This can be known in how their emotive expression goes easily and readily above the midline of the face and into their cheeks. The Ni-Ji's values-based power is Ji, and the logic-based power is Zai. For the Ni-Ji, it is their values-based power of Ji that is ranked higher than their logic-based power of Zai, which makes them values-based, and this can be seen as their mode of expression goes easily and readily above the midline of their face.
Boom, credit achieved. All right.
It feels like I'm being more concise as I'm doing these. It's kind of like cool.
That's important for teaching people, being concise and being able to, holistic and concise, to be able to do that in a timely manner. That really helps in teaching.
Yeah, and sometimes like when you're teaching somebody, it's better to, maybe not, because I'm doing these really quickly. It can often be better to kind of expand it more. But I think as we do more and more beats, they'll naturally come. And also, as you're naturally, expanding out more, being more concise as you're doing that is the ultimate goal.
And also is that there's also like layering. Mm-hmm. So when you teach someone, a lot of times the more expansive kind of thing may be more specifically targeted to the audience and like who they are, follow-up questions they ask, like do they look quizzical or not understanding on certain things you said, and then you can like elaborate. But it's good to have a nice, concise beat you can start the conversation with. It's like a real solid conversation starter. You know what I mean? And then you kind of just wing it from there with your knowledge.
For sure, yeah.
But sometimes you just wing it. A lot of times you may talk for a while and not actually like have summed up the concise explanation. So it's nice to kind of just put that out right away. Most politicians do that. You ask them a question, they kind of have like a nice, packaged answer that's like really good at answering it very quickly, and then they can follow up after.
Yeah, then they get to like the situational questions and things like that.
Definitely.
I noticed that politicians do repeat themselves quite a bit because of that. They're like, because they get asked the same stuff like all the time.
It's true, and there over time there does sort of evolve a like best quick answer. You know what I mean? It's like if I only have 30 seconds or a minute to answer it, that's pretty much how you answer it.
Yeah.
It's funny on the other side, like the interpretives, you see that with actors too, actors and music artists, and they get asked questions like, what was the impetus for this album? What does this song mean? You know what I mean? They get asked it all the time. So after a while, you have like a quick 30 seconds, 60 seconds.
Yeah, I mostly even interpreters, they usually have something roughly prepared to kind of
Yeah.
Because it's the best answer they can give to answer the question. So
for sure. And kind of this stuff here, the fundamentals. If you're answering it like a lot of times, different people, he's kind of like, yeah, bam, bam, bam. There you go. Mm-hmm. All right. What are the perception powers of the Ni? What are the discern powers? Which are ranked higher? And what does that mean for their innate nature? And how can this be noted physiologically?
Naiji have perception powers, which are Nai and V, and they also have discernment powers, which are Ji and Zai. So they're quite capable of gaining information and making decisions. However, these processes can not be of the same rank, and it is their making decision is their Nai, a perception power that outranks all their other powers, making them lead perceivers. This can be noted in their specific variety of bifield face, where their Ji emotiveness goes up above their midline into their cheeks, but not go into their eyes. Always their nigh cunning eyes are piercing through. Cool. So Naji have the perception power. Oh, sorry. Is this about their lead perception power? No, it's just about the perception. Okay, I'll do it again. Naiji have the perception powers of Nai and V, and then discernment powers of Ji and Z, Ji and Zai. It is their perception. They is a perception power that is in the source position, the highest position that outranks all their other powers, which makes them perception lead. And this can be noted physiologically in the Naiji's unique flavor of bifield face, where the Ji emote expression goes easily and readily above the midline of the face, but not into the eyes. Whereas their eyes are is dominated by Nai, and their eyes are always penetrating.
Boom. Credit achieved. Boom. Is that the second pitch? That might be the second pitch.
Yeah.
We're on a Mojo. Now this is going to get a little more complex. So kind of some of them are mathematical, some of them are a little more like descriptive. So here's one that's a little more descriptive. The question's pretty simple, but you'll need to give a little bit of an answer. What are some of the ways? Give like 2 or 3. I think there's 3 in the beat. So if you can give like 2, that's good. What are some ways the first rank power of Nai helps Naiji with Mojo reading?
Interesting. Naiji user powers Naiji, Zai, and V for.
I think we'll go right to the second paragraph, the second beat. The Nai beat.
Okay. Oh, we're not going to do the first one?
That was kind of more of a scene setting. You didn't really.
Okay, cool. That sounds good. Nai helps the Naiji achieve the state of detached interest that is so important in Mojo reading. Naiji have evolved to be highly insightful psychological hunters and observers of the human condition. Therefore, they have a strong need and propensity for reading people in order to be successful at their heroic adventures they are designed for. The Naiji simulator, which has correct human math built intrinsically into it, can import people from the world into the Naiji's fantasies, which very often can help read the innate nature of the people in question. Naiji also use perspective shifting to envision what it would be like to be another person, while their abductive reasoning asks the key questions it takes to discover what hidden forces are at play regarding a given person. Interesting. Interesting. So one of them is that Nai gives the Naiji a strong propensity and need for reading people in order to be successful. Okay, I'm not actually doing it.
Yeah, feel right through that.
Right now. I'm kind of just.
It's good, especially these beats are a little different in how they're structured, so you could take a little time with them.
Interesting. So, would one of them be that Nai gives Naiji uh, a strong need and propensity for reading people? Is that
Yeah, kind of three that just jump out is like basically achieving that special state of attached interest. Nigh helps with that big time. It means they also have a strong need to read people in order to be successful, and then they can also use their simulator to help.
right? That makes sense. And I'm curious, how long roughly should I be in explaining this? Because I could hypothetically
I know
just say
you,
that, but I feel like that wouldn't really answer the question.
but under minute. We're trying to go for under minute for all these as a starting thing, because obviously then a person could ask you questions. You've been reading for a long time, so you could just talk and talk and talk about the subject. But we're looking for like a 1 minute or less initial answer.
Okay. So the Nai of the Naiji being KG soul hunters, it gives them a strong need for reading people. Nai helps the Naiji maintain a quasi-state, detached interest in the sample that they're reading, and on top of that, the Nai allows the Naiji to put people in their simulator, which helps greatly in Mojiri.
Boom, credit achieved.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a little more difficult to structure because you're not sure like how long your sentences should be, you know, how you should say them. But
you did quite quick. That was probably maybe 30 seconds. You got that easy. Nice. All right. The next ones are going to pretty much be repetitive of that. So, what are some ways the second rank power of G helps Naiji with Mojiri?
Well, Ji helps the Naiji take a keen interest in learning about a person's deeper story, which is something that is necessary for many of the fields that Naiji favors, such as psychology and life coaching. Having a Ji that is heavily influenced by Nai means that Naiji are prone to having a close connection to imaginary friends or spirit companions than most people. When Naiji dialogue with these voices in their psyche regarding people being read, it can often yield profound information, including what a given person's mode or design is. Naiji can have a code of conduct that is inclined to update itself as it is confronted with previously unknown truths about natural law, which is a difficult but essential part of the Mojiri process. Interest. So the power of Ji for the Naiji in Mojiri gives them a deep interest in the story of the people that they're reading. It allows them to have a heightened spirit forming dialogue with their spirit friends, which can give very insightful humanistic truths about the people that they're reading. And in addition, the power of G for the Naiji gives them heightened, gives them a strong code of conduct dedicated to updating themselves on cases of the human condition, which is very important to Mojiri.
Boom, well done, credit achieved. Next up, same thing with Zai.
Zai, being in service of Nai and Ji, lets the Naiji logically weigh conceptual humanistic quantities for subtle yet precise categorization. Naiji can use this to understand and create the most sophisticated programming on the planet, and human design can be thought of as nature's most complex programming. As a part of this, Naiji can often build large virtual villages in their mind's eye, and if the logic of it is sound, all the human math cross connections will interweave seamlessly. This can be used to test out what a person's innate nature design is by mentally experimenting with different answer options for that given person and see which one allows the entire virtual village to maintain its equilibrium, clarity, and logical consistency. Interesting. Complex programming. Okay. So the power of Xi for the Naiji allows them to subtly weigh the physiological cues and aspects of the person that are reading that can be logically broken down for them. It allows them to categorize and sort their virtual village in a way that logically makes sense. And in addition, it allows them to run experiments and tests on human condition related criteria to help get the correct answer.
Good. And particularly, it allows them to sort of slot something in the overall virtual village and see if the overall virtual village agrees to the logic of that.
Yes.
Good. Got it. Cred achieved. Same thing. Last one here with V.
V is the. Should I read off first? I'm not sure if you.
Please go ahead and do it.
There we go. Nice. V is the furthest conscious power for the Naiji, but they often find it easy to use in an artistic capacity, which helps out greatly in the Mojo reading with highly attentive aesthetic appreciation. Mojo reading can be thought of as an art form of its own called soul sculpting, and the Naiji are gifted at doing this with their V. Another powerful way Naiji are inclined to use their V is for bullet time reading, where they're able to track visceral experience to pick out visual detail like it is in a video freeze frame. Interesting. Cool. So the way that V is helpful for Naiji Mojo reading is V gives them a great amount of interest in aesthetic experience, which is very critical when you're physically reading a person. Also, it helps with the Mojo reading art form known as soul sculpting. Aesthetic visceral experience is very, very important to that. And also, it allows them to have a great amount of attention to detail that is critical to reading the nuance of the innate nature of a person.
Definitely. And critically on that is they can do it quickly. Naiji have an advantage. They can do it like in real fast, real time, which is a great advantage.
Yeah, bullet time. Yeah.
All right, great. Credit achieved. All right, how you feeling there? Can you go one more pitch?
For sure, yeah. I can.
Keep going. Racking it up. All righty.
These are most of these are really short. There's one.
Yeah,
looks like a big ass one towards the end there, but
a series of shorter questions. You're right. All right, so first one. What is social alchemy in simple terms? How does social alchemy relate to all Mojo designs?
Social alchemy is the energetic interplay between two or more Mojos. Each Mojo is a member of a variety of groupings that help teach more about oneself and how to interact with others. Social alchemy is a vital part of any true Seeker's Row toolkit. Interesting. So social alchemy is the energetic interplay between Mojos. This relates to other Mojo designs in that the social alchemy allows for categorization of the various designs and groupings, which allows you to understand how you relate to them.
Boom. Good. Credit achieved. Stop. What is the recognition group for the Naiji? Who is in this group, and how does the social alchemy group help the Naiji develop themselves?
Cool. The recognition group for Naiji is Naiji in their totality. This includes all Naiji of every possible variation and every level of development. Other Naiji act as mirrors to each other in regards to their peak pathway potentiality, both the aspirational and the cautionary. Naiji with complex psychologies benefit greatly from studying other Naiji. So the recognition group for the Naiji is all of the Naiji. The members of this group are the Naiji. This particular social alchemy grouping allows the Naiji to develop themselves because there are all other Naiji have personal experiences with being a Naiji that can lead great insight into your own innate nature, and that helps you be the best Naiji that you can be.
Boom, well done. Next up, who is the inspirational partner for the Naiji and why? What storyline do they create together with the Naiji? What are some areas that are often shared by the Naiji and their inspirational partner?
Awesome.
Inspirational. That last question is what are some areas of interest that are often shared by the Naiji?
Okay. The inspirational partner for the Naiji is the Nijai, which has the 4 conscious powers that Naiji do not. The Naiji and Nijai together constitute the Nijez storyline. Understanding and elevating the Nijez storyline is crucial in finding a conducive lifestyle and ideal mate for the Naiji. Both Nijez, the Naiji, and Nijai show up frequently in acting, music, comedy, writing, social activism, invention, exploration, psychology, philosophy, spirituality, and much more. So the inspirational partner of the Naiji is the Nijai, and together they create the Nijez storyline.
Make sure you hit that one point about who is the inspirational partner of the Naiji and why.
Oh, why is that? Oh, I missed the why there. Okay. So the inspirational partner for the Naiji is the Nijai, as they share they have the 4 conscious powers of the Naiji do not, while still having the Nijez hierarchy. The storyline they create together is the Nijez storyline, and some of the areas of interest that they share is in acting, music, comedy, spirituality, invention, and so forth.
Boom, well done. Credit achieved, sir.
Awesome.
Up is same source.
The same source partner.
Who is the same source partner of the Naiji? What is the name of this duo? How does the same source partner help the Naiji develop themselves? What are some areas that are often shared by the Naiji and their same source partner?
Cool. Same source partner for the Naiji is the Nai-Z. The Naiji and Nai-Z together make the Nai Alpha, who share having Nai as their first rank power, but have different second rank powers. Nai-Z help you more fully develop your Nai. Both the Nai Alpha show up frequently in acting, comedy, and mixed martial arts. The same source partner for the Naiji is the Nai Z, and together they make they are known as the Nai Alpha because they both have Nai as their source power, but their second rank powers are different. The way that this helps the Naiji develop themselves is through understanding of their Nai. The areas that they frequently share interest in are acting, comedy, and mixed martial arts.
Boom, credit achieved.
Sweet.
Next up is who is the inverse Mojo partner for the Naiji? What is the name of this duo? How does inverse partner help Naiji develop themselves? And what are some areas of common interest?
The inverse Mojo partner for the Naiji is the Jinai. The Naiji and Jinai together make the Durams, who share having Nai and Ji as their top 2 powers, but with the Jinai having Ji first. The Jinai help you more fully develop your Ji. Both Durams show up frequently in acting, most major sports, and combat sports. Interesting, cool. So the inverse Mojo partner for the Naiji is the Jinai. Together they make up the Durams because they both share the top 2 powers of Nai and Ji. However, with the Jinai, it is they have their Ji first and their Nai second, as opposed to the Naiji having their Nai first and their Ji second. The way that the Jinai helps the Naiji develop themselves is through understanding of their Ji. Some areas that you commonly see Jinai and Naiji show up in are most sports, combat sports, and acting.
Good. All right, credit achieved. Next up, these ones here, I just couldn't find a way to do them other than just a series of sort of short questions, so we'll do it that way.
Okay, sounds good.
What is the first wave quartet? Which Mojo designs are included in this grouping?
Cool. Naiji are in the first wave quartet, which include the Nijai, Naizi, and Nizai. Which also includes the Nijai, Naizi, and Nizai. Is there any other questions? Oh, I have to answer what it actually is, though. The Nez Alpha are the 4 designs with an interpretive perception ranked first. This means they innately have the largest appetites for imagination and change. Naiji are in the Romantics Quartet, which...
So that will answer this question here.
Oh, right, you're right. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so this is one big beat, but we're breaking it down. Okay, that makes sense.
This seemed like the most logical way.
Yeah, because otherwise it'll be kind of like a laundry list.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Be like a series of pretty short answers on these.
Nice. The first wave quartet is all of the Mojos with interpretive power as their first ranked power. The Mojo designs in this grouping are the Naiji, Naizi, Nizai, and Nijai.
Boom. Credit achieved. Next up. What is Romantics Quartet? What Mojo designs are in this grouping?
Cool. The Romantics Quartet is all of the Mojos with values-based and interpretive powers as their top 2 powers. The Romantics Quartet includes Naiji, Jinai, Jaini, and Nijai. I didn't even need to read that.
What's that?
I didn't even need to read it. I just knew it off the top of my head.
Boom. All right. Next up. I should do a little asterisk. What are the Hunter Mojos? What Mojo designs are included in this grouping?
The Hunter Mojos are all of the Mojos with a worldview map power as their source power. The Mojos this includes are the Naiji, Naizi, Vaiji, and Vaizi.
Boom. Credit achieved. Next up.
This is fun.
What are Nai Mojos? Which designs are in this grouping?
Nai Mojos are all of the Mojos with Nai as one of their top 2 powers. All the Nai Mojos include the Zinai, the Naizi, the Naiji, and the Jinai.
Boom. Done. Next up. What are the G Mojos? Which Mojos are in this grouping?
G Mojos are all of the Mojos with G as one of their top 2 powers. The G Mojos include Jinai, Jivai, Naiji, and Vaiji.
All right. Here we go. Last one. What special club grouping are the Naiji members of? Which Mojo designs are in this grouping?
Nice. Is special club like subjective interpretive?
Correct.
Nice. The special grouping of club for the Naiji is a subjective interpretive, which means that which includes all of the Mojos that have the source power that is subjective, as well as interpretive power is one of the top 2 powers. The Mojo designs in this grouping are the Jaini, the Zaini, the Naizi, the Naiji, oh, that's it. Yep.
All right, so that is it with that pitch. All right, Ben, we have a little more time left in our session. I wanted to do some fun post L10 stuff with you, some spoken word little training with you to get you excited about that. But
yeah.
do you want to go right to that, or do you want to? Do you think you have enough energy for one more pitch?
Oh, I can do another pitch.
let's do that. Let's do one more pitch, and then we'll go offline and play around with some fun stuff.
Well, it sounds awesome.
All righty, here we go. This is working great for power leveling. This is just what I wanted. We're crushing it.
This is like really cool. Like I make these so quickly. Oh,
that's great. That's great. What is the human matrix, and how does it inform on how all humans relate to each other? How does this relate to social alchemy?
Cool. So is that the first beat up here? Cool. Social alchemy has several areas that are significant expansion for specific purposes, such as education, business, and most popular of all, life partners. Finding, selecting, and successfully interacting with potential life mates involves a multitude of factors, including nature, nurture, and free will.
Oh, you know what? No, my bad. This actually should go off of the last paragraph of the previous.
Oh, my bad.
My bad.
Okay, that makes sense. So we still have one more beat of this.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. The human matrix encompasses all humans and their innate natures, including the Naiji. So any individual can have a positive energetic connection with any other individual, creating productive harmony through a species collective of cooperative specialists. This is based on the principles of human design, which includes the principle of productive harmony between all designs. It just takes building up one's understanding and fluency, starting with the most native designs to their own, which for the Naiji are the Naiji, Nijai, Shinai, and Naizi, then expanding one's relationship horizons from there. Okay, so the human matrix is all of the mojos in the human collective. The way that it informs on the Naiji is that every single mojo has some relationship to the Naiji. There's always some power, energetic interplay. Even the Baizi to the Naiji, for example, have inspirational powers that the Nijai have, just in reverse order, and that teaches the Naiji something. Each and every mojo will teach the Naiji something important about their own innate nature and their own story. And this relates to social alchemy because there's all these different mojos that have energetic relationships to the Naiji's powers.
Exactly. And just to add on there that social alchemy lets you kind of like start with ones that are closer and then build out.
Yes.
All right. Boom. So now we're on to the next pitch, which is the life partner stuff. Okay. All right. First one is pretty simple. It's a single question. Sets up the next one. What are the major categories of life partners for all mojos?
Cool. Social alchemy has several areas that have significant expansion for specific purposes, such as education, business, and most popular of all, life partners. Finding and selecting and successfully interacting with potential life mates involves a multitude of factors, including nature, nurture, and free will. There are different forms of intimate life partner relationships, such as inspiration, augmentation, compensation, and suppression, which have corresponding energetic dynamics that go along with them. So to answer the question, the major categories of life partners are inspiration, augmentation, I'll just look at it. Compensation, suppression. So the four major categories of life partners are inspiration, augmentation, compensation, and suppression.
Boom. All right. So now we'll get into it. What are the inspirational for the Naiji? What are the inspirational life partners? How frequently do inspirational? What are inspirational life partners? How frequently do inspirational life partner situations occur? Which mojo designs are inspirational life partners for the Naiji, and why?
Cool. The most common successful pairing for intimate relationships is between two people who can best project their unconscious genius onto one another. The ideal inspirational for the Naiji is the Nijai, who has the four powers the Naiji does not, and in hierarchical rank that matches up perfectly with the Naiji. Two other highly inspirational mojos are the Naiji and the for the Naiji are the Jaini and the Nizai. The Jaini has both Ni and Jai as their top two powers, and most inspiring powers to Naiji. But
Being better power leveling.
Yeah, hey Jain, it's going great so far. I think I've done like 4 field pitches with coach in just like one session, so it's pretty good. I mean, for the Naiji field, but so it's really cool.
It's great, and as a part of this, we're also making the review questions for everyone to use, and it seems like it's a much more accessible way to level up.
Nice, that's awesome.
The Zhai Ni has both Ni and Zhai's top two powers, the most inspiring powers in Naiji, but with the Zhai ranked above the Ni when the Naiji are ideally inspired by a person who has Ni ranked above Zhai as their top two powers, as is the case with the Ni Zhai. The Ni Zhai has the power of Ni first, like the Ni Zhai, but the second power for the Ni Zhai is Zai, which is a logic-based power when a Naiji Ji is ideally inspired by Zhai, a values-based power. Nice. Okay. So what are inspirational life partners? How frequently do inspirational life partner situations occur? Which Mojo designs are inspirational life partners for the Naiji, and why? Okay, so inspirational life partners are partners who have the Mojo design with all the powers that that Mojo does not. However, in such a way that it energetically is ranked to match their innate nature design. This is the most common pairing, so it occurs the most frequently. And the Mojo designs that are inspirational for the Naiji are the Ni Zhai, the Ni Zai, and the Zhai Ni. The Ni Zhai because Nai and Ji are most inspired by Ni and Zhai in that order. The Zhai Ni because they also contain those top two powers in a different order, but still inspirational because they contain those two powers as their top two powers. And the Ni Zai because they contain Ni as their source power. They contain Zai as their tandem power, but because they contain Ni in that source position, that also makes them inspirational.
Boom. Credit chief, sir.
Sweet.
All right. What are augmentation life partners? How frequently do augmentation life partner situations occur? Which designs are augmentation life partners in IG and why?
The next most common pairing is when two people of the same innate nature design come together, called augmentation, which tends to happen when they share a common cause or goal that acts as the projection of their unconscious genius instead of projecting their unconscious genius onto a human form. For the Naiji, this usually means pairing up with another Naiji as a life partner, which has the benefits of being comfortable and easy to understand. However, it lacks the necessary different powers required to inspire the Naiji to their maximum potential. This inspiration will need to be found through other means such as art, career, or a cause that brings these energies into the Naiji's life on a consistent and pervasive basis. So augmentation life partners are life partners that share the same mojo as you do. This is the second most.
And I should, same or similar?
Oh, same or similar. Yeah, that's correct. I'll take it from the top. Augmentation life partners are life partners who share the same or similar innate nature as you do. This is the second most common pairing behind inspiration. And the augmentation designs for the Naiji are the Naiji, the Naizi, and the Jinai. The reason why the Naiji is augmentation is because they are the exact same mojo as the Naiji, augmenting the most. The reason why the Jinai is because the Jinai also contain Ji and Nai as their top two powers. It's in a different order, but because it contains the top two powers, it still is part of the augmentation trio. And the Nai Z, because they also contain Nai as their source power, they contain Z as their tandem power, which doesn't augment them, but because they contain Nai as their source power, they are still one of the three augmentation mojos for the Naiji.
Boom, credit achieved.
Sweet.
What are compensation life partners? How frequently does this occur? And why do Naiji need to be especially careful about falling into compensation life partner situations?
Another mate choice that is not uncommon usually involves partners who are conducive to one's cultural conditioning and expectations, which then determine the worldly goals they set for themselves, including who they spend their life with. These are called compensatory relationships, as they use one's mate as a form of coping mechanism to deal with overactive stimulation and overbearing expectation that can come from established institutions and traditions. Naiji in particular need to be careful about this because their shape-shifting, ghost-walking, and dissociation abilities make it to where they can easily create makeshift lives for themselves in all kinds of inclement environments, including relationships that are unhealthy. Cool. So compensation life partners are life partners that that aren't really energetically conducive, but are come from cultural expectations put on that particular person. Compensation life partners aren't uncommon, but they're certainly less common than both augmentation and inspiration pairings. Knives, you need to be particularly careful of this because their ghost walking, shape shifting abilities and so forth can make it very easy for them to put themselves in situations that aren't really energetically conducive for them in the long term, including unhealthy relationships.
Boom. Nailed it. Last one. What are suppression-like partners? How frequently does this occur? Which Mojo designs are suppression-like partners to the NIG? And why do suppression-like partner situations occur with surprising frequency?
The last life partner grouping, worth noting, is a suppression relationship, which comes when the partners are designs that put each other in a constant state of modulation. For Niji, this can often be the Vijay. This is not energetically advantageous, but it happens usually because Niji has mistaken the Vijay for a Nijai. Why it's so important we read people, which are the two values-based gatherers, but otherwise are very different. Cool. So the suppression life partners are life partners that that modulate that particular innate nature the most. Suppression life partners are the least common of the major groupings, but they do surprisingly show up quite a bit. The Mojo designs that are suppression for the Naiji are the Vijay, Vizai, and Zai V, I believe. The reason why these suppression-like partners occur so frequently is because oftentimes, for example, the Vijay, they mistake them for Nijai, and also Naiji can have a lot of difficulties with their modulation powers, and really any Mojo can have a lot of difficulties with their modulation powers, which can often cause them to gravitate towards Mojos that excel at that.
Bam! Credit achieved. Nice job, sir. Very nicely done. This is great.
Thank you.
This felt like serious training.
Yeah, it feels really empowering. We'll just like go through these and just not have to worry about too much memorization and things like that.
Yeah.
It feels like something that's going to be like much easier to interweave into my day because it won't feel like so much like it won't feel like so much weight or as much weight with the repetition would be. So like just like doing like one or two of these before bed or something. I mean it feels easy to weave it in and knock them out.
So here's what I'm thinking is from now next time, do what you can on your own with the remainder of your L2 stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll just keep making more questions and we'll continue next time. Does that sound good?
Okay, it sounds good. Do we plan on meeting on a weekly basis or?
Is that okay?
That sounds good with me. Should we make this a regular thing? Tuesdays at
5:30?
5:30 your time?
Yeah, that works for you.
I'll try and make sure I arrive on the correct time. I was a little late because I slept in a little bit, but
don't worry. We got into it and we made a lot of good progress.
Yeah, that was really awesome. Yeah, we got a ton done. I mean, we got like 5 field pitches done or something.
I know, right? Badass. All right, so I'm gonna sign.
I think maybe in the future it might be good. I guess maybe next time we could do maybe 6 through 10 for the Nijai. I'd like to do them side. I didn't mention this before, but I think doing them side by side might be advantageous. It'll be a little bit faster. But
yeah, totally. I think Glenn also said he'd like doing it that way. That's totally cool with me. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So maybe next time, I think since we haven't done the Nijai, yeah, maybe next time we can do 6 through 10 for the Nijai, and then from there we can probably do them side by side.
Side by side. Okay, that sounds great. Sounds great.
That'll
All right,
be
so
awesome.
I'm gonna start the live broadcast. Why don't you stay on here with me? We're doing some fun.
Oh yeah.